Live your life within the moment. And don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away. Our bodies move to the groove and the light that flickers. We get lost in the crowd, it's getting thicker. But get away from the drinks and chatter. Haven't said a word, but it doesn't matter. Feel the air get thinner. Standing in a blurry dream. No one else can see us. Live your life within the moment. And don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away.
Flying into your home like a 1930s train wreck. From the brand new DNL 860 studios. Creating a community of friends and topic-based discussions. This is JJDrones Live.
I'm Karl Marx and I approve this message.
And it's JJDrones Live. Welcome to the train wreck. Thank you everybody for coming in today. Have we got a show for you? If you are into the outdoors, we have got something really, really special lined up for you today. But first, we've got my dad, Dave Johnson. We've got Christian from Mainlight Drone. We've got Explore with Drew. And we've also got baby girl Haley Johnson. And we've got Johnny Mack. We have Mrs. Polanowski. Thank you, everybody, for coming in today. If you would like to have one of your videos featured on my website, go to JJDrones360.com. And for everything JJ Drones related, go to JJDrones360.com. And if you're going to use my Amazon links, it's real easy. All you have to do is go to JJDrones360.com/Amazon1. And the train wreck is real today. And if you would like to have one of your videos featured on our Blinker Flu of the Week segment, email Dan, droningveteran@gmail.com. And our Spreadshirt shop is now open. I was able to get that out of my mouth. All you have to do is go to jjdrones.myspreadshop.com and you can look at all of the wonderful merch we have. We've got JJ Drones merch. We've got Trainwreck is Real merch, or Welcome to the Trainwreck merch, I should say. And we have Blinker Flu of the Week merch. So go ahead and check all that out. Every single penny that is made through our spread shop is going directly into the channel. So thank you, everybody, for being here. We do have a special guest today. Unfortunately, Dan's not going to be able to make it today. So it kind of works out that we do have a special guest planned. So we're going to bring them up right now. We've got, first of all, you love him, you know him. He is the cheesiest of cheeseheads, Brian from Cheesehead Media. And our special guest of today, he puts the out in Outhouse. His name is Chris from Shadetree, America.
Hey, everybody.
Well, thank you very much for coming in and filling in for Dan today, Chris. It really wasn't supposed to be like that, but it ended up working that way anyway. Why don't, before we get into our blinker fluid segment, why don't you give everybody kind of an idea of who you are and about your channel?
Well, my channel is Shadetree America, and it's basically a lot of stuff between the outdoors, product, tool reviews, to just pretty much anything in general. I've threw everything on there between filming the lunar eclipse a few years back to building stuff. So it's a little bit of everything, just a big plethora of whatever I feel like throwing on there.
Okay. So what we're going to do is one of the things that, okay, so my dad says that he's not able to hear you. I'm able to hear you. Brian, you can hear him?
Yeah, a little quiet, but I can hear him.
Maybe boost up your audio just a little bit more, Chris.
Is that any better there?
We'll see if the chat can hear you better. If anybody can hear Chris. Chris, go ahead and say something.
Yeah, does anybody hear me all right? Or is it still messed up? Let's see if maybe I can do something on my end here as well.
Okay, I can hear you. I just went on to the live feed, and I can hear you now.
How about now? Is that better?
Okay, so let's see here. Haley said, yeah, when you just talked, you were really, really loud in my ears, but I can turn down my volume too.
How about now?
Okay. My dad says that was better. So wherever you had it, it was better.
I had to actually go through the system settings. That's all right.
Okay. Yep. So now everybody can hear you. Thank you very much, and everybody in the chat for making that aware now, because later on in the show, I would hate that people weren't able to hear you. But in honor of having Chris on the show today, we are going to have our popcorn featured Blinker Fluid of the Week. So let's go on to our Blinker Fluid of the Week segment.
Word up.
And we've got our Blinker Fluid of the Week. And TJ Giggles FPV has joined us. And this is week 10. Now, Brian, this is you.
Oh, okay. Yes. So, yellow cross light. And I get a green light, and hey, I'm glad I didn't start going.
That was pretty bad. It's lucky that you didn't take off right away.
Right?
And Dan says that he's going to up you one.
You made videos and snaps at that.
Hey, on location with Scott. Thank you very much for coming in. So this looks like a snowy day out in Utah.
Where they should be used to this kind of weather.
You would think so. No, he's just going to sneak on in there. No problem. And on location with Scott, this is our Blinker Fluid of the Week segment where we get to vote on who is most blinker fluid worthy. And this is Christian out of Chicago. You gotta love it when people do that. And our bonus. There's one. There's two. And there it is.
Oh, we talked about the truck that just cut all the way onto the shoulder right there.
Yeah. That was just absolutely phenomenal.
Well,
Hey, Ted.
I
Thank
think
you.
Christian from Chicago there should automatically be disqualified because anyone's ever driven through Chicago, they know that that's like normal. There's a reason why people from Wisconsin refer to them as fibs.
Right. Well, we've got our votes or our poll up for winner of Blinker Fluid of the Week. You can vote 1, 2, 3, or 4. And Brian, if you could do me a favor and keep an eye in the chat for anybody that votes #bonus. And we've already got one vote for #bonus from Hunting and Stuff. Thank you so much for being here, Hunting and Stuff. And Karl Marx, thank you for being here. Appreciate you coming in. And so we've got one extra segment that we're going to be starting the show with from now on, as long as he is willing to be a part of it. And Gary from Jailbait and Tackle Outdoors has decided to grace us with his presence every week with the Florida Man Tip of the Week.
Hi, I'm Karl Marx. You're watching JJDrones on YouTube.
We're back again with a quick tip for all you outdoorsy type people. When I was a young kid, I did two different tours of duty, working as a groundskeeper on a DuPont estate. It was right across the line in Chatsworth, Pennsylvania, across the line from Delaware. So there was a groundskeeper there named Mickey that taught me a lot, and they had, I think it was 40 acres or 60 acres, whatever it was, but a beautiful place. But anyway, so we were always into something, cutting down trees or this, that, and the other thing, and naturally you're going to get poison ivy, poison oak, and stuff like that. So the tip of the day is something I didn't even know existed anymore. So I started thinking about doing this video. So I went to seek it out. It's this right here. It's called Fells Naphtha. It's probably going to show in reverse on this, but it's FELS-NAPTHL. Fells Naphtha. It's a bar of soap. You're not going to find this with all the regular soaps. This is actually like, it's going to be by your laundry detergents. It's a laundry bar and stain remover. It doesn't smell that bad either. But if you get into that, or if you're hiking or whatever you're doing, camping, they say to wet it a little bit. And I remember just wetting it, rubbing it on, and then just kind of like just basically lathering all over. But what it does, it takes any itch away real quick, and it also it really speeds up the healing process. So they they say you're supposed to repeat that process basically like every 4 hours. And I can tell you from personal use, if it's still made the same way it was 40 years ago, whatever, it's really good. It basically just dries out any toxins or poisons that are in there. And literally within 24 hours, you're almost good to go. You're back to normal. But anyway, so that's your outdoors tip of the day. Remember, follow Sealth Bait and Tackle Outdoors for all your shenanigans and hopefully some good tips that's going to help you out in the future. Anyway, we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you, Gary from Sealth Bait and Tackle.
All right, so I have a funny story to share. Okay, so when I was younger, when I was living in Georgia at the time, he was talking about poison ivy. We had these we had pine trees all over the place, and like when I had to go outside and pick up all these stupid pine cones all the time. And one day I didn't feel like doing it because we had friends over and I just wanted to chill and hang out, but I was still out there picking up pine cones and just kind of goofing around or whatever. And at the time I didn't know what poison ivy was, or maybe I did, and I don't know, but I just got so mad because I was out there forever picking up the pine cones. I got so mad. I took a stick and I broke it over my head, and then I just rubbed myself with pine needles, and I ran over and just grabbed all these leaves and stuff, and next day I was literally covered with poison ivy. It was
wow.
It was all over me.
That had to be miserable.
Yes, it was definitely miserable.
Ted says that his grandmother would use that on him when he had poison ivy. Thank you so much for coming in, Ted.
Wow.
Yeah, that would have been awful. Chris, looks like you're having internet issues now.
He's frozen.
I hope it's not happening, but
oh no.
I think, and then there was
Yeah, we can kind of hear you, Chris. If you want, you can call in if your internet keeps dropping out, if that is easier for you. I mean, I'd love to have you up on the feed, but if your internet keeps dropping out, I'd like. Oh, now your face is moving around.
okay. If it does drop out, I probably will have to call in.
Okay, that's fine. Either way, we'll make it happen.
All right.
So what we were going to talk about is what is stealth camping. And before I kind of go into an example, Chris, you want to kind of explain what stealth camping is?
So the premise of stealth camping is basically getting outside into nature, even if you're not able to go out to, say, recreational park or anything. Being able to step up, just a better term, area that, wooded or not, and just standing up there, just act as a homeless person in some way.
Yeah, I think Chris is going to have to call in. While we're waiting for him to... Yeah. Right. While we're waiting for Chris to call in, why don't I just share with everybody here a little bit of his stealth camping video that he did a while back. And let's see here. All right, so this is Chris out in the field stealth camping.
Chris, Shadetree, America.
The train wreck is real.
It is.
So the sleeping bag, okay? I think we're all right. So the sleeping bag I'm using was actually bought at Aldi's, grocery store Aldi's, Adventure Ridge. I hate to say it, I've used this once before, hammock camping, and I wasn't impressed with it. My other one is way too big, and I think it's like a below zero bag, like a mummy bag. I didn't bring that. It'd be just too hot. So
So we have Chris back on the phone. Chris?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so everybody in the chat, make sure that everybody can hear Chris. So if he's too quiet, if he's too soft or whatever, right now I have him cranked all the way up. So hopefully he is going to be loud enough.
I hope so too. I'm trying to get everything. This is Plan D right here. I guess the train wreck is real.
It is. It is. But what I just showed was a little. Okay, Scott says that he can hear you perfectly. So there you go. So
Great.
I shared a little bit of your stealth camp that you did in a cornfield. And so why don't you kind of explain what your idea was when you went out to the cornfield to do your stealth camp?
So the whole idea was I wanted to go camping. This is, I think, pretty much the same as all stealth camping, I guess, quote unquote, stealth campers do. But they want to go out, but either they don't or the ability to get to, say, a big area, like to, like a recreational park or whatnot. So what do? They just, do like an urban, like almost, it's not really more of the rush. I guess maybe for some people it's a rush, but for me, it was just to see what I can do and try something new. And that was the whole idea, just getting out there, something that I haven't seen really done by too many people, to just push myself to challenge, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. And it does bring up a whole lot of challenges for you. Now, Brian or TJ, if you have any questions, feel free to chime in at any time. But I guess my biggest question that I would have is, how do you choose your locations to stealth camp? What are some of the things that you look for as far as a location for you to do a stealth camp at?
For me personally, and I haven't done it as much as some other people. I filmed the one that was kind of successful at the end. I did caught the cornfield one, and then I filmed one that you already watched it, but I haven't premiered it yet. That I took a car camp in the woods, and what I basically look for is, kind of best way to put it is, secrecy. I don't want to be caught. Nobody wants to be caught that's a stealth camper, because you get caught, either you get the knock from the police to move on, or the police, hey, why are you staying right here? Well, it doesn't say no camping, but it's like it's a public area, they say, or something like that. So you have to look for what's the most incognito you could be. That's one thing that I always look for. High risk areas that keep me away from anything is, high traveled areas. Like, some people will do camping like right directly next to a Walmart or a Dollar General or something. To me, I want to stay as far away from that stuff as possible, because it's not about the quote unquote getting risk to be caught. It's, for me, the challenge to challenge myself to go out.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Go ahead, TJ.
Is stealth camping, is it kind of like a show that you would see on the Discovery Channel, kind of like Man vs. Wild, or
no,
what's that other show? It's like another show.
Like
is it kind of
or something?
It's nothing like Naked and Afraid, is it? It's nothing like that.
No. God, no, not at all.
I mean, you obviously have clothes on, obviously. You don't have a tent or anything, obviously, too. So.
Well, sometimes, see, that's the thing. Some people have tents. Some people hammock camp. There's a whole group of stealth camper, quote unquote stealth campers. It's called the Stealth Camping Alliance, and these is a whole group of people. And this is what's a bummer to my internet service and everything, was I had a lot of this stuff, queued up to explain that the whole premise of stealth camping started by mostly one guy. I mean, technically being homeless and stuff is stealth camping, but the idea of stealth camping started out by one guy, and his name is Steve Wallace. He has 1.4 million subscribers right now on YouTube. He's like the god of, or the guru of stealth camping. And I would say towards, YouTube had a transition in 2020 after everybody knows what happened to that. After that, everybody started doing videos. Everybody's seen videos sitting at home, and they're like, oh, I can do that. So the explosion of YouTube channels was massive. That's where a lot of us, our channel started because of it. And that was where stealth camping took off, to where there's a group called the Stealth Camping Alliance that if you do hashtag Stealth Camping Alliance, all one word, on your YouTube browser, you can find, I think it's like 1,200 videos or over 2,000 videos on just stealth camping of people, doing different things, like challenges like staying behind a Home Depot, or in the park, or, in a Buc-ee's, or, stuff like that. So there's so many different people out there that do different things that it's one of those things that the best way to explain it is, some people push it for the adrenaline rush to see what they can do, whereas some people do it just to get out and relax, if that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so a couple of there's already been a couple of comments, and I knew this was going to, be brought up, so we might as well get the elephant out of the room now. And I did put on the screen the videos that you said for hashtag Stealth Camping Alliance, if anybody wanted to check that out. But my dad said, careful not to trespass and watch for combines. Obviously, you don't want to get caught up in a combine. Ted says stealth camping is trespassing on private property and trying not to get caught. And I know he was kind of tongue-in-cheek there. And then my dad says any damages you can be held responsible for. So why don't you address that portion of it, where obviously you're doing something that you are sometimes going on private property and trying not to get caught. So how do you, and there were some videos that I saw where people actually were arrested stealth camping because of being on private property. So how do you kind of balance that?
So the Stealth Camping Alliance is like worldwide. And I know some of the people that have got caught are in different countries where I can't speak for their customs, their laws and stuff. I know for what I do, and a lot of the people that I talk to with the stealth camping community, is we don't do no trespassing, where it says no trespassing posted property and stuff like that. You don't do stuff like that. You don't, and to address like the damages and stuff, we don't do any kind of like damages. We're not cutting down trees. We're not smashing a board. We're not going into, properties and damaging stuff. And we always try to take and leave the area better than what we did or got there. And like, if that's taking out a bag of trash, taking out something, coming back later to help clean up the area, stuff like that is the key. I mean, the whole thing is it's the same as like being outdoors and hunting. You don't want to, or even fishing, you don't want to leave your trash around, because what's going to happen? Open areas, open land's going to end up being closed down to where you can't use it again. So it's one of those things that you don't want to tear up and make a big mess.
Right.
For me, I don't want to go out there. I mean, it's the basic leave no trace. That's the whole idea of stealth camping. If you're going to set up a fire ring and have a fire at a fire pit, you're leaving a trace. You're leaving evidence that you were there, and if it come down to where you could go in and say, sneak in and have like your own little fire, carrying fire thing, then you could go and do something like that and you can get away with it. But it's not about going in there windows in some abandoned house, and doing some tagging on the debris, stuff like that, or going onto some property that say, it's no trespassing because the person had looters in the past. It's not like that.
Right. So Johnny Mac actually put up a very interesting comment. He said that in Scotland they have the right to roam. Trespass doesn't exist. So that's actually really, really interesting, Johnny Mac. I've never even heard of that. And then my dad, he's always trying to try and be on the safe side. He says most states have areas to camp, and any farm field or fenced property is considered private in the U.S. So in order, he's just basically trying to let you know, just to be careful in areas like that.
Right. I totally get that. And I appreciate that, because that was like when I did the cornfield one, the price I camped at, and it was a farm that actually had deer damage and crop damage, and that was in the video. You could see the crop damage, and that is an area where they encourage hunters to come in there to harvest deer to keep the population down from damaging. And the car camp that I will be putting out here pretty soon, that one was actually a forest that was, and the car camp's kind of a little bit different than, camping on the ground. The car camp was, I parked at a place that a lumber company owned, like hundreds of thousands of acres in that area, that allow people to camp on the land as long as they're not cutting down trees and you're not tearing up stuff. And that was one of the things, why I picked that area.
And hunting and stuff said there's a lot of state-owned ground that's fenced, considered public ground where he lives. So that is another interesting piece of information. And Paul says, just go to California, everything is free. And he's not wrong. There's plenty of stealth camping that's not so stealthy in the cities of California. I can be a witness to that. I see that all the time. Johnny Mac says Loch Lomond has had to be restricted due to idiots chopping trees and also making fires. And I guess it all just boils down to common sense, doesn't it?
That's exactly it. You want to treat everything, with the utmost respect. I mean, it still comes down to the very beginning. It's called stealth camping. If you're going to be out there cutting down trees and building forts and stuff like that, you're not really stealthy. You're more of almost like I don't want to say like a Navy SEAL or something like that, some kind of person that's hiding behind enemy lines, but in a way you kind of are. And you don't want to leave, any kind of evidence that you were there. So that's the biggest thing. And I know you see a lot of the videos, and you said about I'm busted, and stuff like that. We're busted, and I was busted on the first one when I got out at the end, and I was taking pictures, so I didn't lie to the guy and say, because I told the guy at the end of my first, the cornfield one, I was like, hey, I'm in there taking pictures. So I was taking pictures, and everybody's seen it in that video that watched it, of the sunrise with the moon, and I think I did a panoramic view of the cornfield with that, but what was really scary on that one, and I didn't realize this, the gentleman told me that there was actually bears sighted the day before. He walks the road that I came out on, and there was bears every day saw in that area. So it's kind of, that was one of those things that, how do I want to say it, that was kind of worrisome, after I did it, but it was like, okay, I'm already done with it.
Right. So I guess what I'm kind of getting from a lot of people, and I'm getting text messages and comments, so thank you everybody for making the comments and for the text messages, is basically that it would be probably better if it was something that was on public land, if you knew somebody and were able to, get permission to go on their property and stuff like that. But no, I understand why people do what they're doing, because of, like you said, some of it is just kind of the thrill. You're just doing it just to be able to get out and do something fun. But I guess a lot of the comments that I'm getting are, just basically make sure that you're not trespassing on somebody's property, because as Ted kind of said, respect is respecting people's property. So respect is out the door when you trespass on somebody's property. Again, it's a controversial subject, and that's why I wanted to bring Chris on, because I definitely understand the reason behind it, and I just wanted to let him just basically give his reason why he does it. And I think that there's no harm, no foul, especially if you're doing it on public land. And thank you very much, Johnny Mac, for that super sticker. I really appreciate that. Wow, thank you so much. And Betty, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate that. One more comment from Ted, and then we'll let you respond, Chris. Or I'm sorry, TJ, you had a comment.
Yeah.
Let me just do this one, and we'll get to your question. Stealth camping is the act of parking your camper van or motorhome in any area without paying for a parking spot, ranging anywhere from residential streets to the middle of the countryside. I'm guessing that's the written definition. TJ?
So, have you ever been kicked out of a place? Like, have they ever said, like, you have to go, you can't stay here or whatever?
I have not, but there is a couple times that I have actually backed out myself, starting to go to do something after scouting an area that I wanted to like camp at, and I'm like, I just didn't feel comfortable. One was right by where I fish at the pond that I usually fish at. I was going to set up, and I was going to do a little bit of fishing and do like a little tent camp, and I backed out on that just because I didn't get. I felt kind of bad vibes is the best way to do it, because I figured, I could fish and do a little bit of a fishing video at the same time, and I just backed out just because it was one of those things that I just didn't feel comfortable in that area.
Okay.
But to get the knock, no, I never got the quote-unquote knock that a lot of people talk about, like on, or somebody come up to you, and if somebody would come up to me and say, hey, can you go? Well, yeah, I'll go, no problem. I apologize and move on. It is what it is. And that was one of those things that I always have. If I do anything, I always make sure I have a out, I guess you want to call it, that if I need to call somebody, and that's why I try to keep close to my house, that I can say, hey, wife, come get me, and she can come grab me, and I don't have to worry about it, and I'm not the type of person that I'm going to get mad if I can't do it. I'm just going to apologize and move on.
Now, the one thing Johnny Mac said, the only thing that you should leave behind after a camp is good memories. And the one thing that I can say for certain after watching not only this video that I've already shown part of, I've also watched his upcoming video that, and then you can let us know when you're going to be premiering that, Chris. But in his upcoming video that he did, he's cleaned up after himself and left the areas that he was in, if not better than it was when he got there. It's at least the same.
Yeah, I just, I always show the utmost respect with anything I do, and that was one of those things that I can't stand going somewhere and say somebody had a camp, even a campground, and there's half burnt beer cans and bratwurst packages and stuff. To me, that just shows just terrible, I don't want to say, terrible manners. It might be one of the best ways to say it. And that's why I try to keep myself, keep my area just as good as, if not better than whenever I go.
Jenny and Steve from Stormy Sky Rail Productions want to know, what is the difference between stealth camping and boondocking?
Well, boondocking is more like getting into, like, say, you're kind of set up in a area. How do I want to say it? Like in a wooded area, or you're going to set up in a area that you know that people set up for camping. I'm going to kind of refer back to Steve Wallace. Steve Wallace made a documentary, very good documentary, of him living on the east coast or the west coast of Canada, and he did boondocking where he set his RV up in different stops and stayed there for a while. Where stealth camping is, you're going to park overnight and then you're going to leave, or you're just going to be there overnight. You're not going to basically move in and live there for like weeks on end. And honestly, the best way to explain this is everybody knows right now with the channel that Gary's in a, Gary's kind of in housing limbo is the best way to say it. And Gary boondocks at a woman's house, and he kind of stealth camps at stores where he just parks overnight and then leaves the next morning. So I hope that's something to explain that a little bit better. I think is the best way to explain it. That's, to me, I can think of that. That was probably the best way I could explain the differences.
Right. My dad asked who's liable for injuries, and I'm guessing that basically falls on the stealth camper.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, you're not going to go and... I would say that's the best way to put it. Any decent person is not going to go and sue somebody because they fell and scratched their leg, or they broke an ankle because they're on somebody else's land. Me, personally, I wouldn't do that because that means that I was on your land. I mean, and I'm going to come up to you and knock on the door and say, hey, I fell in your field? No. I mean, if I fall and hurt myself or do something like that, I mean, I'm going to deal with it myself because that's my stupid idea to do something like that. I mean, it would be the same as if you're out fishing, you're not going to go and get mad at somebody or if the Department of Wildlife or something because you fell off your boat.
Right. Paul, I know Paul knows exactly what you're talking about because he did live in his car for quite a few months. Go ahead, TJ.
So while you were out stealth camping, one night or whatever, have you ever been bitten by whatever, a snake or whatever's crawling around out there? Have you ever had anything dangerous happen to you or anything like that?
Not like that. See, I kind of figured that I was going to have problems with animals, and I didn't. And luckily, I say thank the Lord that I haven't. And that was one of the biggest things is because my area is like a hotbed for ticks. In fact, I literally just was over at my sister's house today and had to help take a tick off their one cat. And it's everywhere. I've heard people recently, and that's one of the biggest things. Like, if you watch channel, he doesn't really do much anything for, quote-unquote stealth camping, but Nicholas Green Outdoors, where Nicholas has been in different areas and stuff, like in the woods, and he's talking about ticks. But when it comes to, snakes and spiders and rodents and stuff, not really. I'm not worried as much with those items. If me personally, it'd be more like coyotes, bears would be my big worry.
Right. Let's see here. Hunting and Stuff said if you sue a landowner for getting hurt, it seems like it could turn right back around to trespassing. And I think that's probably why nobody would sue the owner for something like that. But it's really important to know the area that you're in, to know your local laws. Definitely don't want to promote anything that is going to get anybody into trouble legally. But this definitely sounds like something that would be fun to do if you wanted to go to a state property or a state park or someplace remote that you could definitely go out and have a good time and test what you're able to do. You know, you don't have to have a huge RV. You don't have to have a tent necessarily. You can just go out there and have a good time.
And that's like why I, if I do any kind of camping, I don't go near houses, dwellings, or anything like that. I'm basically out into the nature part of doing it. I know there's other people out there that do it where I self-camped in a abandoned house or an abandoned museum or an abandoned this or that, or I was next to it. I don't do that. I don't like being near that stuff. I'm more into being in the nature part. And whenever, the closest campground for me is like 30, 40 miles away, and I may not have that much time to commit to something, that's where the allure of it is. Where some of the campers that are out there and have channels like the one channel I'm going to bring up is his name's Small Plots. His name's Kevin. He lives in Rochester, and he camps around there. And it started where he just wanted to get out of the house and doing stuff like that. Or you look at a really close friend of mine, Tony, Random Adventures 2.0. He started doing stuff, and he's actually camped in the city or the town of Centralia twice in Pennsylvania, and has done trips across America doing different areas and stuff. Like, and if you guys don't know what Centralia is, it's the city or a town that's actually on fire underground, coal mines underground, caught on fire. The coal deposits, and it's been burning for like 40 or 50 years. So that was one of those things. But it's not about, for me, it's not about being, going out there and breaking in something. It's utmost respect with as much as possible for people. I'm not into vandalizing hooligan stuff. So that I have to emphasize that I don't recommend doing anything like that. I would definitely say that that's something that I'm not recommending doing, and it's on everybody's risk. It's the risk of the person to do it. It's the same as going out hunting or fishing. You're doing it at your own risk, just like anything else.
And I will just say that, the JJ Drones channel doesn't promote anything that would be, considered to be illegal or harmful in any way that would put you in jail. So that's not something we're trying to promote. What we're trying to promote is basically go out there, have a good time, do some camping, and it's going to be a lot of fun if you try it, but just make sure that you do it the legal way.
Correct.
It's been so long since I've been camping. I used to camp when a lot when I was kind of young. It is fun doing it because you're out there and you got your fire going, roasting marshmallows, and just kind of doing whatever else out there and just hanging out.
Yeah, camping is a lot of fun. I mean, Haley and I do it every year, but what we do is probably more what they would call glamping, right, Chris?
Yeah. Camping.
Yeah. Yeah, with the mansion on wheels.
Hey, Robert Mack, thank you so much for coming in. Before we get to the end of the program, we do have a giveaway to do this evening, and everybody on the panel is welcome to get into the drawing. But before we do so, I just want to go through the rules. You must be 18 years of age and older. You must be present to win. So as long as you're here, you will be present to win. You must be in the United States or be able to receive the maple syrup at a U.S. address. Yay. If you do win, you have 24 hours to give me your address. Otherwise, the syrup will be given away to another person who is trying to win it. And when I do this, it's going to be a pick a number. I'm going to give you a range 1 through whatever. And then as soon as I say go, I will put go into the chat. And then you will have an opportunity to put your guess in for the number. And then I will put a little red dot into the chat that will signify where the stop point is. And then whoever gets closest to the number without going over will be the winner. And we do have 2 bottles of this homemade maple syrup. It is not made in a commercial kitchen, so there is no food safety guarantees, but it tastes great. That is the disclaimer from my dad. And I put a disclaimer in the video saying that the syrup is homemade, it is not made for purchase or resale. It has no resale value. There is no nutrition information labeled on the syrup, as it is not for sale. It is made from the trees on my dad's property. Anyone who feels they may have an allergy to such products should not try to win it. And I think that covers all of the legal stuff. Oh, we lost TJ. TJ's already put in a guess. Don't put in a guess until I say go. Okay? So we're going to go. We've got 16 people in the chat right now. 16 people in the chat. So we're going to do 1 through 30. And Dan is in the chat. Hey, Dan, thanks for coming in. 1 through 30. I'm going to put go in the chat, and then... All right, so go is in the chat. Everybody, 1 through 30. And I will be using a random number generator to pick the number.
Just one number, right?
Well, there's 2 bottles, so we're going to pick 2 different numbers. And I just want to thank Chris for coming on to the program today. Chris is very informative. I didn't really know much about stealth camping other than what I saw on your video. And I do appreciate you taking the time to sharing it with us.
Yeah, and if there's other questions or anything, I mean, like I said, hashtag Stealth Camping Alliance. There is multiple creators out there that are doing stuff. Some people are very questionable, with what they're doing, and I think they're doing it for the thrill of seeing them get caught, where others are doing it a lot more respectful, where you're not gonna, it's not like it's smashing up anything. But like I said, I'm not promoting going out there and getting into mischief or anything like that. I'm mostly wanting to promote just to be outside. Just to be outside, get outside and have fun.
Absolutely. Let's see here. On Location with Scott said, ignore my number 4 guess. Okay. Tony's got 26. All right, so we're going to go 10 more seconds, guys. 10 more seconds. And TJ, you got to pick a number.
I put like a bunch of them in there.
I know, just one. Just one.
Okay.
Just one.
Okay.
Let's see here. Scott had 13 and 22. Yeah, just one number, guys. One number. I'm sorry. I should have mentioned that. One number and one number only.
I don't know. On previous shows when people have done giveaways, everybody's putting all the numbers. Like we're all just like putting every single number we could think of, or any color we could think of. Like we just like go crazy in the chats.
Right. Okay. So we've got. Okay. Looks like everybody's got a number in. TJ, what one of those numbers do you want?
I'll pick 15.
Okay. So you got 15. All right. So 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and okay, there is our stop point. And we've got everybody has their numbers in, and the number for our first bottle of my dad's maple syrup, and if you want to know what it looks like, there it is right there. Homemade up in Michigan.
Oh, nice.
First winner is whoever is closest or has the number 6.
Ooh, I had number 4.
Chris had 4.
Are you sure that's an upside down and really a 9?
Good point.
Looks like Paul
It looks
C
like-
is the winner of the first bottle. So, Paul, now that you have moved to Texas, I'm going to need your new address. So definitely text or email me your address. And when I get home, I'll probably be mailing it out on Tuesday because I don't get home till late tomorrow. So, but I will get it mailed out ASAP. So we've got one more bottle to give away. Paul, you are not eligible to win this one. So everybody, again, choose a number 1 through 30, just one number only. After you see go in the chat. And go ahead and put in your guess 1 through 30.
So we can guess again?
Yep, you can guess again. Just one number, though.
Okay.
Robert Mack, you can change your number because Hunting and Stuff had 21 first.
And TJ, you'll have to choose
TJ,
another
you
one.
can change your
Promise
number
that, yeah.
because Jenny and Steve had 19 before you.
Okay, all right.
Okay, guys, we're going to do it a couple more seconds here. Make sure that we have everybody. Anthony says I can take it to Texas for Paul. You probably won't have anything left if I did that, Paul. That is so funny. Dan says it's rigged.
It's hashtag rigged. Yeah, that's what everybody says in the chat when other people do giveaways. They'll do it like when somebody wins or something. It's like hashtag rigged.
He just voted for bonus.
Well, that's 3. That's not even the segment.
All right, so we're going to do a 10-second countdown again. We've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Engine start.
And the red dot is in the chat.
Hey.
And the winner of this bottle of maple syrup is number 10, or whoever is closest.
I was 8.
I think you may be the winner.
Yes. Woohoo!
Because 8, Johnny Mack, you were really close with 11, but you went over by 1. And it is closest without going over, so TJ. Yeah, Scott, it's actually without going over. So the answer, or the one that won, is 8. And we got the rigs coming in.
It's rigged. Hashtag rigged. There it is. Hashtag rigged.
Sorry, Johnny Mac. I was going to click on that, but Brian must have clicked on it before me. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Droning vet, I'll get to taste it myself because I just want a bottle. So.
Let's see here. What happens if someone wants to buy from your dad's maple syrup? We can't sell it, Robert, but I can get with him. I know your email, and if you're interested in it, definitely send me an email and let me know. But and I'll see what I can get what if I can. I'll see what I can steal from my dad's house. How about that? He actually does a really good job. The maple syrup is fantastic, and TJ, you're gonna absolutely love it with pancakes or waffles or whatever.
How does he make it?
He taps the maple or the sap from the maple trees, and then he takes it in buckets, and then he goes and boils it down and adds the sugar and everything, I believe, and then basically it turns into syrup. I'd have to have my dad come on and talk about how to make the maple syrup itself, because I don't know the process, but it's a lot of time boiling down a lot of sap. I can tell you that.
Oh, there you go.
Brian, you look like you have something to say about it.
I was going to say, at least growing up here in the Northwoods area, I mean, I think every year in grade school we went to, Fallen Timbers or one of the other nature conservatories and watched them tap trees and make maple syrup. So,
right,
it's kind of like going to a dairy farm. You just, it's just something growing up.
My dad's just texted me and said no added sugar.
Yeah, every time I've seen maple syrup made, it's literally just boiling down the syrup. That's it.
Yeah, it's 40 to 1 gallons to make syrup.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But if you ever seen the sap come out of a maple tree, it takes a lot, but it's not that. And on location with Scott, Canada is weird. They actually have like maple syrup reserves, and then they grade it like A, B, and C, and light and dark, and it's almost like motor oil and stuff. It's kind of cool.
Well,
again,
it looks.
Oh, there you go.
It looks like the maple syrup giveaway was a success, because now everybody wants some maple syrup.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like Stormy Sky. I only use real maple syrup. I will not buy the stuff in a store.
Well, we are come towards the end of the show, and we still have to get to our Blinker Fluid of the Week winner. Brian, how many votes did we have for the bonus?
We had 3.
We had 3 votes for the bonus.
Eins, zwei, drei.
Ooh, even did it in German.
Yeah.
So it looks like we have a clear winner, and this week's Blinker Fluid of the Week winner is number 1. Brian from Cheesehead Media. It was your video that won today. The popcorn flavored Blinker Fluid of the Week.
Now, is that butter flavored popcorn or movie theater popcorn?
I would say butter flavored with some maple syrup on top.
Okay, perfect.
So how many flavors does Haley make, like a week or a month or however long? Like how many flavors does she think of? Like how many?
For Blinker Fluid?
Yeah.
We pretty much just come up with our own flavors every week.
Oh. Now, okay, so what do you use to make it? Like you just like put a bunch of stuff like in a little bottle and just shake it up, and it hopefully how is it made? Like how do you make your?
Well, you go to the AutoZone.
Yep.
Go up to the counter. You have to give them the make, model, and engine size of your vehicle, and you ask them for the blinker fluid for your brand of car.
Well, no, but I'm talking about for the flavors that the flavors.
No, this is the same bottle we use every week.
Yeah.
I just changed the flavor that's in it.
You can't actually drink it, right? Or
no?
No,
there's nothing in here, TJ.
That the cap comes off.
I thought because when I asked you the first time, I thought you actually you and Haley made some and put it in a bottle.
No. That's way too much work for this show. We're on a really tight budget, which is zero.
Yeah, the boys
Now,
are
Dan,
right
on
next
the
to
other
muffler
hand-
bearings.
Wait, Dan, on the other hand, we don't know what he's drinking half the time.
Oh, I do. It's vodka. Vodka. And lots of it. But we've reached the end of the program, folks. So we're going to start off with Chris giving us our last words of the show.
Be safe out there. No matter what you do, be respectful to everybody. Live by the golden rule, and that's about it.
TJ. TJ is frozen and gone. Maybe he'll come back. Brian.
I discovered something today, and I guess it's been going on for a while south of the border. And when I say south of the border, I mean Illinois, but it's creeping up here. Restaurants are now putting surcharges for using a credit or debit card on your bill. So, when you go out to eat, watch out for that. I mean, and it's to the point of the restaurant I was at today was at 3.85%, they said, and I get a 3% back on from my credit union, so that doesn't even cover that cost.
Right.
So just if you go out to eat, whether it's a little or a lot, pay attention to that.
Yeah,
there's a money saving. There's a G money saving tip.
There you go. Well, we've actually had that problem at a pizza joint up in Michigan, where they make you pay a surcharge for using a debit card, and that's an entirely different conversation for another day.
Yeah,
because that just drives me absolutely out of my mind.
Yeah, I mean, it either build into your prices, do something. It's kind of like the automatic tipping thing. Especially when you're like going through, I don't know, a drive-through for a bagel place. I ordered at a speaker. You handed me something through a window. Now you want me to tip you? No.
Right. Scott says, nice stream, JJ Drones. Finally caught you. Droning Veteran told me to stay away, but I ignored him this time. And thank you, Robert Mack. Appreciate that. And Johnny Mack, thank you so much for your super chat tonight. I do appreciate it. And check out our Spreadshirt shop. Make sure that you, if you feel inclined, use those super chats and those super thanks, because every penny that you donate is going to go to helping this channel. And over the next 2 weeks, I'll be at home. So next Sunday, we'll be broadcasting from the JJ Drones studios up in Quinnipiac, Michigan. And hopefully by then, we will have a huge announcement. So definitely stick around and find out, because once I make this announcement, it's going to be a game changer for a lot of people. So I appreciate all of you for coming. Yeah, Brian, you were going to say something?
No.
Oh, okay. I appreciate you all for coming along for this ride with me, and we'll see you later on down the road. Bye, everybody.